and Katarina's kind of saying that right away that there's a connection there.
Yeah, Katarina says it to Ulrich, right? And then later in the episode, I think Ulrich repeats it to the woman that he's a police officer with,
Yes, Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, they keep saying everything's like it was, everything's repeating, everything's happening again, the murders are connected, right? So they know that all
they were the
three.
same age. They were it was the same. All that. They're. It's right away. There's a connection between Ulrich's missing younger brother from 1986 and what we just witnessed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. And then we also get to see, further confirmation for what we're talking about, that Charlotte confirms the dead bodies, obviously not Mikkel, and we also remember they were originally looking for Eric, and they confirm that the body's not Eric. So there's this, they're confirming that there's this missing boy, and it's not the kid we're currently looking for in Ulrich's son, and it's also not Eric who we were originally looking for. So that's that.
And we know that it's meds.
Yep, exactly. And
Yeah,
then
I'm realizing.
yeah.
I'm realizing now. I combined when they find the coin with the earlier scene when we were talking about it. But they do the ear canal thing first with the grains, then later they do another thing where they find the coin, but it doesn't matter.
No, well, yeah, you're there already. Like you're up to that
Yeah,
part because
now we're here.
in the police station where they're searching the belongings, that's where we see the coin, the red necklace, and we're like, this is a penny from 1986.
100%.
Um,
So now we're after they're examining the body, right? They're fully realized. I brought that up a little bit early. Now we've actually caught up to that point.
yep.
They've realized everything is.
And I also just mentioned that Katarina was discussing Mads, Mikkel. It's connected. Now we also get to see Ulrich discussing it with Charlotte. He's now saying to Charlotte, "There's a connection. Like, let's figure this out because there is a connection."
Right. And then the next thing it cuts to, right? So this is what we're getting to with that God fluid, the particles, is you see Alex. Alex is the guy who owns the nuclear plant. He's Bartos's father.
Yeah,
And he's like, what?
Alexander Tiedemann.
Alexander Tiedemann. And he's talking to Jurgen, being like, dude, we got to get rid of that shit. And immediately, as an audience, you're kind of like, bro, what are they trying to get rid of, right?
Well, yeah, he says it's what he said was eerily. I took note of it because of how weird it was. He goes, "Get rid of them tonight," like, and he doesn't specify. He's like, "We got to get rid of them tonight." And as an
Right.
audience, you're like, "Wow, like that."
Who's
That
them?
bodies.
Right. Is them the
Oh,
kids?
yeah, like what are we talking about here? And it's also important to connect that guy he's talking to. That's Eric. It's Eric's father. It's Eric Oberndorf's father.
Jurgen is.
Jurgen, so that's weird. And he's reluctant to do it at first. Like he's basically like, I forget exactly what he said, but along the lines of like, I'm out. Like I don't wanna clean up the grounds.
He actually says, "Are you sure? Like with the police looking at me with my own son, like Eric missing and all this stuff, are you sure you want me doing your dirty work right now?"
Am I the right guy for this?
And the other guy's like, "Yo, you trying to blackmail me?"
Yeah, and then he turns it around and not blackmails him, but basically says like, you're gonna do this. Like,
Yeah.
like,
No, Jurgen. I mean, Alex thinks Jurgen is blackmailing him, and Jurgen's like, "Bro, I'm not fucking blackmailing you." He's like, "Bro, what are you talking about?"
Yeah,
And he's like, "Oh, you're not? Well, then shut the fuck up and do it." And he's like,
yeah.
"Okay."
Yeah, I mean, I didn't remember being as spooked out by Alexander Tiedemann as I was. Not necessarily spooked, but in that scene, you're like, this is a villain for the moment. Like
You could feel that he's sort of yeah, he's the villain in it.
yeah, yeah. And then after this, I don't know what you had next. So if I'm skipping something, tell me. But I loved what we saw next, which was the stranger who we know is Middle Jonas, and he's checking into the hotel room and we right away you see that he's hanging up what I notated as clues on this wall. He's putting up notes, he's putting up paper. You can't tell what some of this stuff is, but we get to basically see Jonas is now in this room. Stranger Jonas is now in this room, and he's putting up these clues in front of himself. And
Yeah, I
cool.
like to do the Charlie Day conspiracy board meme.
You're nailing it.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
That's exactly right. The dots
So
are.
if y'all have seen that, if not, Google it. But the conspiracy board meme,
Yeah.
Jonas starts basically doing it in the
I think
hotel.
any board that is set up that way is going to forever be linked to that. So
Charlie Day,
I'm sure
100%.
who we're talking to is probably aware of that to some extent.
I mean, yeah, if you haven't seen the meme, what's going on? You have Netflix and you haven't seen that meme?
Yeah,
Impossible.
right. Yeah, right. Well, there. If you're enjoying Dark, that's another show. You can, if you wanted a different tone, there's a recommendation too. But what we see next is one of the craziest parts of the episode. We get to see what we know as the time machine,
The
like
time
his,
machine.
like which is just like again being a heavy spoiler based discussion. At the time, you're kind of like, what is this thing he just pulled out? But here we are. There's a time machine. Like
It
he's
takes forever to find out that it's a time machine in the actual show. I had that same moment on the rewatch of like,
yeah.
the time
So it's
machine
funny.
appears in
It's
episode
interesting we're
two.
saying that this is the episode that reinforces time travel so hard, and we also get to see it's episode two, and Stranger Jonas, who's future Jonas, is pulling out the time machine. I thought that was awesome. I almost like sat up a little bit. I was like, "That's sick."
Yeah.